Hey everybody, welcome back to Cignals YouTube. This is Young Wall Street, and today we're going over depth of market updates that we've made. A lot of people are asking about what the columns to the far left and far right are, so I figured this would be a good time to kind of hop into it and go over it all with you and go over a little bit of advanced order flow analysis using the depth of market as well. So if you haven't signed up for Cignals yet, guys, at least a free account, go ahead, sign up. Link in the description or Cignals.io. Sign up for your free account and give it a whirl. I'm sure you will find it useful and at least get yourself acclimated with it so you understand what we're talking about. If you're already a Cignals free user and have been on the fence about upgrading to the $19.99 basic package, it gives you access to almost everything, guys, which is the depth of market, gives you access to VWAP, all of the trading pairs, all of the exchanges, all of the time frames. It's the most bang for the buck. Everybody that we have using it gives us really good reviews. If you need a review, hop in the Discord, ask anybody, and ultimately it will definitely help your trading tremendously. The price over the course of a year, just about $200, and realistically, if you're using this the way we're explaining it to you and you use it accordingly, you will make that money back, no question. You're probably paying more in trading fees just shooting it to the wind as opposed to having a tool that will really help you be the best trader you can be. So Cignals.io or link in description. Give it a whirl. If you could, give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below any questions, thoughts, whatever you may have. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, it helps us out tremendously, so we definitely appreciate it, guys. All of the continued support and kind words that we've gotten over the past year and change since we've kind of launched this all. And let's hop right into it. So we had a lot of questions, like I said, about what are these updates. When we did the depth of market video in the sophomore year, I think it was like the second video we did in the sophomore year of Cignals Trading Academy, we didn't release these updates yet. So, you know, it was a good video. It really dove into order flow analysis off the DOM and how to scalp and just things that I look for, things that a lot of guys that use depth of market order flow analysis look for or tend to look for while scalping off a depth of market. And I'll leave that video in the end cards, so you see at the end you can just click on it and it'll take you directly to the depth of market scalping video if you haven't already seen it. But figured it's a great time to kind of do a little refresher course outside of the Trading Academy, have it there for reference in case anybody else ever wants to go through it and learn a little bit more about the updates. So the updates are the far left and, or excuse me, far right and far left columns. Okay, you're probably already familiar with the OB and the ladder, price in the middle, liquidations off to the far left. What these are over here, now let's look. As you can see here, these are the offers that are being added as buyers are hitting the market. It's kind of aggressive at this point. They're adding let's see, as we slip down a little bit, as we see these like greenish, tealish rectangles essentially fill up with orders. That's offers being placed onto the ask as buyers hit the market, right? So they're capping price. Notice how we fell roughly like 15-20 bucks just as those immense amount of offers were added to the stack as buyers were hitting the market. So they're trying to keep price capped. You'll notice there's also like these pinkish, peachish, they do get red rectangles as well. So if you saw like the inverse of that, instead of this being like there's a lot of size hitting the current price right now and buyers are kind of not able to really absorb it, move through it, so price is probably going to continue to just wither a little bit downward until we find some sort of initiative from buyers to kind of press through it, or we start to see this on the sell side, on the ask, right, where this would mean the complete opposite. This is sellers pulling offers off the stack as buyers are hitting the market. As buyers slam the market, what you, if like here, we got it for a second, but what we're seeing is essentially when this happens, when you get these little rectangles with the red or peachish color to them and a negative amount of inventory in the middle, what you're seeing is, again, sellers pulling asks off the column as buyers hit the market. So let's look at it in context now. Let's try to make an example. This is just an example, but it's a way to think about it in context. If we're at an inflection point, resistance, or an area where we've been seeing a lot of absorption and we really couldn't rotate through it, buyers can't rotate through, and we start to see a big change, a big delta in the amount of offers that are being placed. Essentially, they start to pull them away with size, and buyers are pressing it, right? What we're going to start to see is we're going to probably start to lift through the areas of absorption and resistance that have been capping us, right? This is theoretical, but what we would expect to see is, okay, well, we're getting a decent amount of size being taken off as buyers hit. This has been an area over the last X amount of hours, days, whatever, of resistance, absorption, and now all of a sudden, like you can see, we're starting to see it happen, right? Now we're starting to move, right? See, this literally is just exactly what we're talking about. So as those offers start to get peeled away at areas of resistance, absorption, whatever, we start to rotate through because buyers might be starting to press the initiative, get aggressive, and try to rotate through that area of resistance or absorption, and it becomes very evident when the sellers are starting to peel inventory off. They're not trying to stand in the way or cap price. So it's important to follow these as best you can, because what'll happen is you'll start to like watch it for a while and you'll be trading in a range or something, and then all of a sudden, let's just, again, theoretically, we start to see, sellers are aggressively pounding the table, capping price. Then all of a sudden you get these big offers that are being peeled off the market, whether that's a algo market maker, group of market makers, algos, traders, whatever. You don't know exactly what they're thinking, but you get an idea that they don't want to stand in front of this move anymore, and maybe it's the bid, the buy pressure on the ask is getting a little too intense risk-wise for them. They want to open the door, liquidate people that may be trapped short, whatever it is. We don't know. We're speculating, right? But what you start to see is a reversal. Like right here, you're getting a good amount of asks being placed, and they're moving price down as a result, right? They don't want to let this thing continue to rise. And then all of a sudden, you might start to see, as this trade gets tired, they can't really move price back down, or they're tired of absorbing this one area of the book. What'll happen is they'll start to peel these off and price will start to gravitate through that level, and then all of a sudden you get like a big move higher, and it starts to just naturally take care of itself, in the sense that buyers finally press the initiative, get through that area of absorption, sorry about that, and we start to rotate into the next zone of the book, where there may be offers waiting or whatever. You may start to really get initiative here, and buyers start to really press for a new high. So that's important to watch for. Like you'll start to see this all as it moves. Are we getting a lot of offers being placed, or are we getting a lot of offers being peeled? And right now, I mean, they're kind of like letting it rotate in this weird $40 band, where you can see here they're aggressive. They're starting to really pound on the buyers, adding a lot of size to this area. They don't want to let them rotate through for some reason. Right here, you're getting a lot of size here, and you can see it printing on the profile off to the right. Like they're not letting anyone through here, and we're starting to fall as a result, obviously, right? So that's kind of the gist of it, and it obviously works in reverse as well. If we were getting minus 600 coins at this level, it'd be different. We're starting to, they're letting them get through, like, which means buyers are pressing hard. They're really taking everything that the bears are putting on them, and they're trying to press through. Can't really get there, but you're starting to notice as we get into this area of the book, they don't press as hard as they did down here. They kind of like, it's a little light. they start to pull a little bit or not put as much, and we get up into this level, and then all of a sudden it kind of all just comes right back, and we start to rotate down again. But you can see it's really very dependent on, you know, the context of the market, what's happening now, and it's a good way to follow what may be happening now from an order flow perspective, because as you can see, every time we get to about 2420, we start to encounter bigger size. If we're able to rotate through the 2400s, yeah, we get into this area. What you start to see is more size hit the market. They're not really pulling yet, you know, they're not letting it rotate through. They kind of keep a lid on it, and we keep falling that $10, $15, $20 very fast. And then the whole thing starts to rinse and repeat. And the same is on the buy side, guys. It's the same thing in reverse. Like what you see here is there's not a ton of buyers really attacking the market aggressively. They're putting small size onto the book as sellers. See, now they're starting to pull, you know. So let's take a look here. So what's happening is, what you see is, as sellers are pressing the bid, trying to drive it lower, they're adding some size. Like, you know, you got a few coins here, but you know, as we get into the 2400 area, they start to kind of like peter off a little bit. You see how not a ton of size really here. They're not pressing as hard as the bears are. They're not pressing as hard as the bears are. They're hitting the market. They're trying to absorb what they can, but they're not pressing for initiative the same way the sellers are. And if we were to see this get very heavily green, teal, whatever, you know, we know that they're pressing, they're putting a lot of size onto the book as sellers hit the market and try to press the bid lower. And if we start to get these colored rectangles, we start to see or get an idea that there's a lot of, or not a lot, depending on the reading, but we get an idea that there's size being pulled off of the bid as sellers are hitting the market. So it's the same thing as what we just explained over here, but in reverse. So you got to understand context and understand exactly what's happening in the grand scheme of things, which is why we wanted to just go over the gist of how this all works. So again, as you can see, as we rotate into these areas, not a ton of size being added. They're not really pressing all that hard, and you can see the results. I mean, we're literally, as we talk about it, it's happening, right? They will not let buyers rotate through right around 20,440. Every time we get into that area, even since we've been on talking about this, they kind of just start to really press and add size on the ask, feed the market, let them kind of just fall in on themselves, because there's really no, I mean, they're probably watching the same things we are. They see that there's not a ton of size hitting the market. They see, or from the bid side, they see that every time they let them kind of rotate through the 20,420 area into this zone. They're not really pressing hard to take control of the initiative, push us back above 20,500 or whatever that area. And you can just see there's not a ton of size hitting the market relative to the sellers feeding the ask. So that's something that you got to keep on top of. And realistically, if you have an idea, like look right here, like you can see, like, I mean, it's very evident what's happening at this point, right? I mean, they're literally just letting it fall through. They're not even trying to attack the bid. They're kind of letting it fall. They're not pressing initiative hard. They're not adding size the way the sellers are adding size to the book. And that's your first clue that once we got up here and it was a little toppy, probably take a short up there. You could see the amount of offers that were being added relative to the bids. So it's probably a great, and you saw it happen like 2 times in the process of us talking, you know, about it. So it was probably a good idea. Maybe if you were long, lighten up, or if you wanted to scalp short real quick with some size and just let it free fall like 50, 60, $100, $200, whatever it is, let it happen and don't step in front of the move until you start to see more size on the bid hit the market relative to the amount of asks hitting the market, as, you know, buyers are pressing the initiative. So And you can see here they're trying. This seems like they're trying a little bit harder now to move it back up. But again, you still have size here. They're not letting up at all. So that's how you kind of read all that, guys. It's not super complicated, but at the same time, it takes a little getting used to train your eyes how to watch both sides of the stack, how to watch the ladder kind of like play itself out, and where your sticky levels are. You can use this in conjunction with, let's say, like a footprint chart that we offer, and look for areas of imbalance, divergence, and just areas where what you're seeing, if you had, like, let's say this open along with the footprint, you kind of just watch for these areas more or less on the footprint. You see like maybe an imbalance or a VWAP cross in that area, and you see size starting to hit the market on the bid as we pull back. All right, maybe a good idea, start to leg in or whatever. You get an idea of where your levels are. You get an idea of where the psychology of the market is headed, because what happens is people get very confident just thinking, well, this is the level, without any context. And that's really not what you should be doing. Because look here, I mean, a group of people's adding size here. Somebody's adding immense size. I mean, 400, we're going for 420, 430, 450, 60, 70. And then, again, starts to rotate down. So that's pretty much the gist of it, guys. I mean, like I said, if you were just going to scalp directly off the depth of market, looking for levels, like we're really trading in a narrow range here. It's hard to really give an example in real time right now because we're trading in such a narrow range. But the best way I can explain this would be kind of the example of how every time we get up into the 40s, they kind of just rotate up with it, or they'll pull a little bit or not put as much size on the ask as buyers are starting to get aggressive. Like, let's watch it happen now. Okay, they're going to try to rotate into the 40s. You got a lot of absorption in this area. You see it on the profile off to the right, that every time we try to get through 20, they just don't let it happen. Buyers see, look, they're pulling as we get up here. They're not putting size on relative to sellers. So what do you think is going to happen in that situation, right? Obviously, price is most likely going to fall down. Make sure you use it if you are doing some analysis and you're looking for like a swing trade level, or you're trying to get an idea of like, what your range is to scalp. It's good to use in conjunction with footprint charts. You might start to see a bunch of liquidations happen at certain levels, which is also good to keep an eye on. All this off to the left. And yeah, I mean, that's really it. It's not rocket science or brain surgery. Obviously, it's something that's going to take some getting used to, but feel free to leave any questions in the description, or excuse me, in the comments below. Also in the description, that's what I was trying to get at. Sorry, guys. In the description, if you're not a part of our Discord, follow the link to the Discord. We're there all day for the most part. We answer questions and as quickly as we can when we see them, and we're always bouncing around in those channels. And if you're not an advanced member yet, advanced gives you access to our private Discord channels, private YouTube, our alerts channel in Discord, and all that good premium stuff that you don't get with basic $79.99 a month. It's worth it because we do educate and really try our hardest to deliver as much value for those guys as we can, because again, you're paying more money. We want to make sure that anything that is brought up question wise is addressed right away, and we do our best to educate as much as humanly possible in those alpha channels, share charts, share everything we possibly can just with relation to other markets besides just Bitcoin, TradFi wise, and all that good stuff. So give it a shot if you're already a basic member and been on the fence as well. Leave some comments below about what you think or any questions you may have. Follow the link in the description to our Discord and to the Cignals website itself to sign up if you haven't already. Like, subscribe, and let's just see real quick. Are we going to get this rotation through? Do you see how they will not let it happen? They will not let it happen. I mean, they're starting to get lighter as we get to this level, but will they let it happen is the question. I mean, they're not really pressing on the bid side either. They're relative here. I mean, now it's starting to get even. Let's see. Yeah, they won't let it happen. There's not a ton of size really hitting the book here. On the buy side, yep. See, there we go. There really is. There's somebody motivated to cap this range, and I'm glad we saw this unfold in real time. Literally, exactly what we're talking about unfold in real time. Like, subscribe, share the video, hit up the Discord, hit up our Substack in the description as well. It has some good info in there. We're back to publishing bi-monthly, or excuse me, like bi-weekly not videos, articles as well. We appreciate all you guys. Have a great day.